The security camera footage would later show the exact moment. Marcus Webb's life changed forever. 2:47 p.m. on a Tuesday afternoon, when he stepped between an angry manager and a quiet woman in a faded coat, never imagining that single act of courage would cost him everything he had and give him everything he never knew he needed. Marcus had worked as a janitor at Riverside Mall for 11 years. His hands were calloused from pushing mops across miles of tile. His knees ached from kneeling to scrub stubborn stains, and his shoulders carried the weight of double shifts he'd taken to pay for his daughter's college textbooks. At 52, he wasn't chasing dreams anymore. He was just trying to survive, one paycheck at a time, in a world that had long stopped noticing people like him. But Marcus had one quality that no amount of hardship could erase. He couldn't stand by and watch someone being mistreated. It started like any other Tuesday. Marcus was cleaning the food court when he noticed the commotion. Near the customer service desk, a woman stood there, maybe in her 60s, wearing a worn winter coat that had seen better days. Her gray hair was pulled back in a simple ponytail, and she clutched a shopping bag with trembling hands. Across from her, Derek Mitchell, the mall's assistant manager, was red-faced and shouting. "I don't care what your excuse is," Derek bellowed, his voice echoing across the food court. "You people think you can just walk in here and waste our time with your petty complaints." The woman flinched but stood her ground. "I'm simply asking about the return policy. The clerk told me." "I don't care what anyone told you." Derek cut her off. "You're holding up the line with your confusion. Maybe if you'd pay attention instead of wasting everyone's time, we wouldn't have this problem." Several shoppers had stopped to watch, some recording on their phones, others looking away uncomfortably. The woman's face had gone pale, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. She looked exactly like Marcus's mother had looked years ago, when a bank manager had humiliated her for asking about a loan she didn't understand. Marcus's mop clattered to the floor. "Hey!" His work boots squeaked against the tile as he approached. "That's enough." Derek spun around, his expression morphing from anger to condescension. "Excuse me? This doesn't concern you, Webb. Get back to mopping." "It concerns me when you're disrespecting a customer," Marcus said quietly. His heart hammered in his chest, but his voice stayed steady. "She's asking a simple question. There's no reason to speak to her like that." The woman looked at Marcus with surprise, then gratitude. Derek's eyes narrowed dangerously. "You're a janitor," Derek said slowly, each word dripping with contempt. "You don't tell me how to do my job. Now get back to work before you join the unemployment line." Marcus glanced at the woman, saw her clutching her bag tighter, saw the dignity she was fighting to maintain. He thought about his daughter, Sarah, who he'd raised to stand up for what was right even when it was hard. What kind of father would he be if he couldn't do the same? "No," Marcus said. "I won't watch you bully someone who just needs help." The silence that followed felt like an eternity. Derek's face turned purple. "You're fired. Clean out your locker and get out of my mall." The words hit Marcus like a physical blow. 11 years. 11 years of loyalty, of covering shifts, of arriving early and staying late. Gone in an instant. He thought of his rent due next week, of Sarah's tuition payment, of the careful budget he'd built that was now collapsing like a house of cards. But when he looked at the woman's face, saw the tears, now streaming down her cheeks, not from Derek's cruelty, but from Marcus's kindness, he knew he'd made the right choice. "Ma'am," Marcus said gently, turning to her, "don't let people like him make you feel small. You have every right to ask questions and be treated with respect." She reached out and squeezed his hand. "Thank you," she whispered. "You have no idea what you've just done." Marcus nodded, grabbed his cleaning cart, and walked toward the employee area, his legs feeling like lead. Behind him, Derek was already barking orders at other staff. The incident apparently forgotten by everyone except Marcus, whose entire world had just shattered. In the locker room, Marcus sat on the bench staring at his hands. How was he going to tell Sarah? How was he going to pay the bills? At his age, finding another job wouldn't be easy. The weight of it all pressed down on him until he could barely breathe. His phone buzzed. Sarah. "Hey, Dad, just aced my economics midterm." "Your sacrifices are worth it." "Love you." Marcus closed his eyes, fighting back tears. He'd made the right choice. He had to believe that. 3 days passed in agonizing limbo. Marcus applied to every job he could find, but his savings were evaporating. He hadn't told Sarah yet. He couldn't bear to add stress during her exams. On Friday morning, his phone rang from an unknown number. "Is this Marcus Webb?" A professional woman's voice. "Yes? This is Jennifer Chen from Apex Industries. We'd like to invite you to our headquarters this afternoon for a meeting with our CEO. Are you available at 2 o'clock? Marcus was confused. He hadn't applied to Apex Industries. They were one of the largest corporations in the state. "I think there's been a mistake. I'm a janitor." "No mistake, Mr. Webb. A car will pick you up at 1:30. Please come." The black town car felt surreal. So did the gleaming Apex Industries tower downtown, with its marble floors and art-filled lobbies. Marcus, in his only suit, 15 years old and shiny at the elbows, felt like an imposter as he was escorted to the top floor. The secretary led him into an enormous corner office with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. And there, standing by the window in an elegant navy suit, was the woman from the mall. Marcus froze. She turned, and her face broke into a warm smile. "Hello, Marcus. I'm Catherine Winters, CEO of Apex Industries. We met earlier this week." Marcus couldn't speak. His mind raced to connect the dots. The worn coat, the humble demeanor, the shopping bag. Catherine seemed to read his thoughts. "I sometimes visit stores incognito," she explained. "It helps me understand how companies treat their customers when they think no one important is watching. That day I got my answer, and I met someone who proved that character isn't about position or power. It's about choices." She gestured to a chair, and Marcus sat, still stunned. "I've spent 3 days investigating you, Marcus. Your former co-workers describe you as the hardest worker they know. Your daughter's professors say she's brilliant and credits you for teaching her integrity. And that mall security footage has been viewed by my entire executive team." She leaned forward. "What you did took courage most people don't have. You risked everything to defend a stranger." "I just did what was right," Marcus managed. "Exactly. And that's precisely why I want you to work for me. Not as a janitor, though there's honor in that work. I want you to head our new corporate culture and ethics department. 6-figure salary, full benefits, and a budget to build programs that teach companies how to treat people with dignity. You'll help organizations understand that how we treat the most vulnerable reveals who we really are." Marcus felt tears spilling down his cheeks. "I don't have the qualifications." "You have the only qualification that matters. You understand that every person deserves respect, regardless of who they are or what they can do for you. That's what I need. That's what the world needs." That evening, Marcus called Sarah and told her everything. When he finished, she was crying too. "Dad, I'm so proud of you. You taught me that doing the right thing matters more than doing the easy thing. Now the world gets to learn that from you too." 6 months later, Marcus's programs were being implemented across 50 companies. Derek Mitchell had been fired, and Riverside Mall had adopted new customer service standards. But Marcus's proudest moment came when a young janitor from another company called him, asking for advice about standing up to an abusive manager. "Remember," Marcus told him, "your job title doesn't define your worth. Your character does. And sometimes the smallest act of courage creates ripples that change everything." As he hung up, Marcus looked at the framed photo on his desk. Him and Catherine at the program launch. 2 people from different worlds connected by a shared belief in human dignity. He'd learned that kindness is never wasted, that standing up for others always matters, and that sometimes losing everything is the only way to find what you were always meant to have. The security camera footage still existed, a reminder that every moment is a choice, and every choice reveals who we truly are.